Apologies this evening. We are without mics.
Yeah, hopefully everybody can hear us okay.
Yeah, so we'll try and be loud and enunciate our thoughts. And we have lots of thoughts on this episode this evening.
Yeah, we do.
So it's really fun to engage with the fans, with you guys. Again, thank you to those that are watching, and thank you to those that comment. We had a really fun time last week, kind of engaging with everyone in the episode.
That was so much fun.
It was a really, I think maybe a high point for the series too. That episode. So
Yeah.
people seem to be in good spirits. I feel like this week we know that there's a lot of negativity with this show.
Yep.
I feel like this week is only going to exacerbate things. I think it's only going to get worse. Which again goes along with what we're saying here. If you don't like the show, that's okay.
Yes.
Do I think it's the worst Star Wars thing ever? No.
Absolutely
Do I think it's the
not.
best show? No. Am I enjoying it? Yes.
You don't think it's the best show because you're so
Andor.
diehard into Andor, though. Anyways, you're not wrong. It's definitely not the best, but it's definitely not the worst either.
So what did you feel about this?
Well, actually, I don't know. Sorry, I think this is one of the best. I do. This week's episode was a little bit lackluster. Okay, not lackluster. It had a lot happened. A lot went down. We learned a lot of things.
We knew that this episode was going to be slower.
I didn't feel it was slower.
In that last week we had a lot of the action. We had a lot of the update. We had 2 episodes left. We knew we needed the reveal of Brendock,
Yeah.
which was going to slow down the pace of it, because what we learned tonight doesn't the story was Saul chasing Khmer, and we haven't gotten anywhere in that.
Yeah.
We've just kind of gotten the backstory of why he's chasing him.
But I feel like this week's episode was, sure, not action-packed, but it was packed with information. There's a few things I really didn't like about this episode that they kind of just really let me down on, that I was hoping for a bigger reveal. The death of the witches being one of them. What the hell was that? The connection was broken and 30 powerful witches just vanished?
Because they said that there was 50
What?
witches on the planet.
50!
Yes, and they all died.
Bro!
So I think maybe that could have been better explained at some point, when maybe it happened to Torben, Corbill, 2 of the mothers could have been that's dangerous.
Yeah.
If that connection is severed, you could lose your life.
Wow.
A simple line like that
What a
would have
difference. Yep.
You
I
know,
never even thought about that. What a difference that would have made. It would have made everything make sense there. So that bugged me. That really bugged me. Also,
you don't like the fire.
okay, so I get we're not on Earth.
People
but
don't like fire
rock
in this show.
doesn't catch fire.
But it's mechanical.
What do you
We
mean?
know that
the fire's not. The rock's
the
not.
fire could be spreading through little access points and conduits for cables and stuff, and we don't know what's in that facility. It was a mining facility, so they addressed that. So there could be fuels or something that's explosive there. It does seem strange that, again,
Rooster Tails is on my side. He hates the fire.
Okay. No, okay. Here's my thing with that. We said it last week. She pulls this lantern off the wall.
Yeah.
She lights a book.
Yeah.
The whole thing burns down.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Well, we don't have sprinkler systems. We don't have fire prevention. We don't have anything to if at any point that wall flame goes, the whole thing goes out.
And okay, you said it yourself. They said it's a mining facility, so the whole thing is rock, right? Yes, there's structure and whatnot, but even if those wooden beams burnt down, we're not going to have massive explosions that cause the whole thing to fall apart. Also, when Sol and Torben were there with the witches and that first explosion went off, there was no debris anywhere, and then all of a sudden, all the debris was there. We saw nothing fall. We saw nobody dodge anything. It was one explosion, and the whole field was covered in debris. And I was like, okay, that was also a little weird. The fire I didn't like. The witches dying I didn't like.
Do you think there's going to be another reveal, or do you think this is it?
Well, there better be another reveal, because this is kind of
maybe something else.
This is kind of bullshit. The witches dying like that is that's a huge letdown for this series, because that I feel was supposed to be a big thing of the Jedi kind of causing some doing some damage. The Jedi only fought each other, and Torben's face scars coming out of
that
what?
was another one I didn't
Coming out of what?
So
the palm of his hand.
Well, it's even when Kalnaka pulled him close, and then it was his face pressed against the wall. But there was no justification. It wasn't it didn't really look like it was an imprint of anything on the wall.
Yeah.
Or
and it was the back of his head on the wall.
No, it was a side. It was like he had like.
Oh, okay. Like
Yeah.
yeah. But the scar was already there.
Okay, here's my thing. You had the Wookiee grab him by the face.
Yeah.
You had it right there.
Right.
It was right there. You did it.
Man.
Do you wonder if like that scene was cut out, where like maybe he grabbed him and cut him, and then like he throws him against the wall?
I never thought about that.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Rooster Tail said, "No, stop. They never said that they're explosives." Elaborate on that a little bit for me.
Oh, that there were explosives with that fire thing. Yeah, we'll get his response there.
He said he agrees 100% on the scar thing, though. I mean, dude, like, there was another thing about
So okay, what we're saying with this, we don't like the reveals. We feel that they were kind of cheated.
Yeah, definitely.
So your thing is like, okay, it's cool that the witches like died to fulfill the story, but how they died of like the connection was severed.
Yeah.
But there was no explanation to it. That was weak, right?
And then another thing, you asked if we're gonna get another reveal. I feel like we have to get another reveal because May doesn't die when she falls. Correct? Obviously.
Good catch.
Why did we not see May crawl out of the pit or anything like that? Like, what happened to May? She fell. Technically, she should have died, right?
Yeah.
Like, so there's something missing there that either we need more into that, or because this show to me, and I think to you as well, has been a great show thus far. Like, it's been awesome. Yeah, I've been really enjoying it week over week. I've been having fun.
There are weaknesses. Like, it's not perfect, but I'm enjoying it.
But
this is like I've had a fun time. Like, hey, Colin, it's Tuesday night. Like,
right?
That's.
But this one let me down.
Okay.
This one really let me down. And being episode 7, I'm like, we got one more week for you to close all those gaps. Like,
I always say this though. So, okay, look at a show like Breaking Bad. Spoiler alerts for the show. The third last episode is widely regarded as like a perfect episode.
Okay.
The reveal of Hank and all that stuff.
Okay.
Then the second last episode is that complete like fast forward. It's a slow down in pace. It changes everything. It gives like a halt and a different perspective. And then the finale is something wonderful. So I knew that outright this was going to be a slow episode. Like, we can't be pedal to to the floor all the way to the end.
Yeah.
We needed some slowdown, and like I liked the reveal. I liked. There's a lot of stuff we talked about, like the Jedi were made to feel like police, and they were very clinical in like how they were talking about it, like my colleagues.
Yeah.
It's like not my fellow Jedi. It's like we have the right to train Padawans. Like
yeah.
You know what I mean? But I also did like the perspective of like they were sent there for a mission, for a reason, to investigate something, and like this crazy situation has come across them.
Yeah.
I do like how Torben was kind of a weak link, and you made a great connection that Torben felt like Anakin, questioning like his master, like I don't want to be here. There's better things I could be doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe he was easily susceptible.
Yeah.
So totally cool with that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I really liked. I know we didn't get a lot of Carrie Ann Moss.
Yep.
Really liked her in this episode.
I did too.
Like I really felt like she was a good master, and like
it's about time we got some Carrie Ann Moss, because if all we got was the beginning, that felt kind of. It felt like we would have been led on with the trailers and such.
So now, okay, here's my big thing. Everyone wanted to see a Jedi Wookiee fight. Were you not happy with that fight? Okay. There were some really good moves.
I was happy with the fight, but it could have been better. I feel like this whole episode, and again, I don't want to fully judge it until I see next week, because I've been enjoying everything so far. But I feel like this episode could have been a lot better.
In the reveals, in like
the action, the reveals.
The action. Let's talk about that. So like, what didn't you? I really liked the lightsaber fight. I love the
it was good.
The Jedi Fu.
It was good, but compared to every other episode, I feel it was very lackluster. Like this felt like a fight that would have been in Kenobi, or a fight that would have been in some of the other Disney shows. Where the Acolyte, I feel like so far their fights have been way above any other Star Wars show we've seen. Like the choreographing's been phenomenal in this show. Through every fight scene, I feel, except this one. Like it was good, but it wasn't great. It could have been way better.
See, I'm on the fence. I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed some things like the ferocity of the Wookiee. Yeah. So every hit he made, they were like barely able to block it, but they weren't able to like rebound. It was like what we saw.
But until it came down to it, where Torben was like one-handed. Blocking Kelnaka for a good 30 seconds. So that's where I'm like, okay, yeah, but then they just disregarded that. when Kalnaka went for the kill shot. Torben
His
one-handed backwards.
He had it down. I don't
Dude.
just watch it once. Was the lightsaber like pinned to the wall or something? Like did he
Not
have
that
it,
I
like,
saw.
so it like he forced it so it couldn't move any further? Like it's.
But then it should just went through the wall. It's a lightsaber.
But it's like how Qui-Gon, it takes time to melt.
Let me read out these comments real quick here. John McGraby said the only Star Wars show I'd like would be Andor and the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian. Disney Star Wars to be specific. That's fair. I do think you got to give this one a bit of a shot. Wait till that final episode. There were explosions, but was no reason for them. So if they had a scene where they said what they're mining, okay, yeah, I get what you're saying.
That's a great
like
point.
If it was a coal type material, that would make more sense.
Is that Rooster Teeth?
That's Rooster Tails, yeah.
Rooster Tails. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry.
He's butchering that name.
I'm thinking Red versus Blue.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
That's a great point because again, like I said earlier,
That's a
with
great point.
referencing the witches, you could have said it was an old mining facility for what was that material in Mandalorian season 3 that they had to mine on the.
Oh yeah. Ah, come on, someone help us out here.
But that would have been a cool tie-in, like,
Yeah.
oh, this used to be an old mine for
Yeah.
whatever it was, and it's like, oh, okay, that's that really explosive stuff that we've seen in Disney lore.
Yeah.
So, like, we know,
Sure.
like, okay, great, if a fire starts in this facility.
That's a good
Something's
point.
up.
Yep, that's a good point.
So, again, it's weird. I feel like I'm enjoying the story,
Yep.
but the writing is just, it's not polished. Again, I sound like I'm beating a dead horse. I sound like a broken record. If this was a polished movie, it'd be very, very good.
Yeah.
The story is good, like the
It's
elements
real
are
good.
there, but the finishing little polish, like how the witches died, that like
Yeah.
you could have taken a little bit more time to polish it up and be like, no, they explain that if they lose the connection, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm gonna put up a poll because we have 8 people watching right now, so I want to know what everybody's thoughts are. Do you like the show?
we'll get everyone's kind of opinion there, and then I want to break it down. And if they do like the show, did you like this episode?
Yeah.
Or are you like calling it like this one didn't quite hit?
I
Because I feel like next week is gonna be like the holy.
next week's title. Okay, so I saw a thing that the title this week was like choice and betrayal or something, but we just got choice, so that wasn't
Whose
correct.
choice?
And that was another thing I wanted to talk to you about. Break down choice for me. What what is choice?
I don't have my list here anymore of the title name. Do you think the titles are a reference to Saul and maybe not Osha and May?
Ooh, I never thought about that.
Because this one was choice, and he very clearly makes a choice. He picks Osha because he wants to. He even at one point calls May Osha, I think because he just wants to.
What was that?
I think he's just like, it's showing you that he's so focused on, like, he wants her as an apprentice.
Okay, episode 1, Lost and Found. Obviously, Ocean May. It has to be, right?
But it could be from Saul's perspective that, like, he lost one child and found one.
Oh, that's good. Revenge and justice.
You know, he... I figured that one out. Look at these ratings! Oh my god, why are they so bad?
Dude.
Yeah, Destiny was a slower episode, but again, like...
Day and night were friggin' awesome. Awesome. Teaching corrupt, and then truth. Or choice, my bad. If someone can break down to us what choice means,
So whose choice was it?
Yeah.
It was May and Osha's because Mother Anasay said at the end that Osha chose you.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So it was a choice.
Yep.
So Osha chose you, May chose to start a fire. Because May did start the fire. There's no way around this that, like, May did something that she should have done.
Yeah, but
You know what was also weird? Mother Coral and the other witches, watched and kind of encouraged May to go smash that console to, like, get ready for war.
Yeah.
Like, I think, like, they were, like...
They were hyping her up.
And at one point they had, when they were training Osha, she's like, yeah, give in to your anger, like, get real strong. So I think they were, like, trying to work the girls up, and maybe it either worked against them or, like, this was their intent.
I like that, yeah, because she was definitely hyping her up with some dark magic there, for sure.
They refer to it as dark magic, right?
Yeah, which I I like how the Jedi look at them as evil, like, because it more justifies what the Jedi are doing, even though
From my
Soul just
perspective-
straight up butchered that lady. Like,
Okay, we talked about that. What would you do in that instance?
well,
He didn't draw his lightsaber like Torben, so he wasn't aggressively going, and all of a sudden this person beside you starts turning into this demon mist thing and is going for the child you're here to rescue, and Soul is so focused on rescuing this child, like that's his only priority,
yeah.
that, like he's got blinders on.
Mhm.
So when it's fighting him, it's okay, he's unarmed, but the second it went for her,
Yeah.
he's like,
Yes. Rhydonium. Yes, you're right. Man.
okay, so that could have been
Rooster
cool.
Tail's good.
Rooster Tail's on the ball. You could have said like it's an old Rhydonium mine or something.
Yeah.
Done.
So we've got 7 people in here. We've only got 3 votes so far. Hit that vote. Let us know what you think, and also hit that like button. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, we
appreciate
appreciate the views. We appreciate the.
that.
We're enjoying this. Colin and I have talked about it all week. I've really enjoyed engaging with you guys.
Yeah, the live streaming's a lot of fun.
So, and it's so soon after the episode that like our emotions are still high,
Yeah.
but like things are starting to kind of like settle down.
This is the
Like
raw talk right after.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like that. Those
We
spots
hesitate. We have like 10 minutes in between the stream and the episode, and we like try not to
Yeah,
talk too
to-
much.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Like,
Like,
wait.
What'd you think? Save that for
Yeah.
later. So
oh man.
it's I think we made a good point. You need to watch the entire show to really judge it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be like, oh, it's okay. Well, you don't like Andor, and you've only seen a few episodes.
You're right. No, that's
You
a
know
good
what I mean?
point. Well, okay. I've only seen a few episodes where I've actually sat down and like watched it. The other episodes have been on. I just haven't watched.
Oh, it's a disservice. You can't just like
Dude.
that's not a background show.
Ooh, we went from 67% yes back down to 50-50. We've got 4 votes, so we're half and half right now.
Interesting.
Tell me in the comments what you do and don't like about this show too, so we have something to
Yeah, and
compare to what we're thinking as well.
I also want to know, did you like the show before tonight, and then tonight's episode?
Ooh, that's a good question.
You know, like you're like this sucks,
Yeah.
like because maybe we keep saying give it a chance. Next week's episode could be the worst thing in the world, and we sit down here in 7 days and be like, that was dog shit.
That's the other
Like,
thing.
that was,
Yeah,
like,
it could just botch, dude. It could just botch.
But
like,
for everything else, like we talked about it, the production design, the set design, I'm enjoying all that. Like it's not a terrible show. This is not a 3-star show. Like there's effort in it.
yeah.
The story, like there's the writing, like a little bit of polishing in there would be great. But I mean, we've got some memorable characters,
Rooster Tail said the witch's death was a letdown, and
right?
I totally agree. Like, I feel like there has to be more to that, and I like what you said, where that simple line really could have changed the whole dynamic there. And then he said it too with the cave. Like, it just takes one line put in the right spot to kind of justify all the things that were a letdown today. Like
That's
you
what I mean,
said,
like a little, just a tighter and like.
Torben's face was in the Wookiee's hand, bro! And there's no explanation for that scar. That scar's way too big to be something like, how many times have you bashed your head or bashed your arm, whatever, you get cuts all the time. They don't scar like that,
You know what?
dude.
We're gonna do a meme. We'll do a skit, a comedy skit, the next few days. We'll press your face up against a wall and see the
Yeah.
image that you know what I mean?
Right? The 50 Shades of Sith was weird from last week, Rooster Tail said. That was, yeah, Chimere just like seductively seducing Osha was,
But you know what? You even said it right there. It's that seduction. Like that's
Yeah.
the dark side is like that. That
Yeah.
seduction is the force. And I saw someone drawing weird comparisons online where like we'd seen Yord. She sees Yord in that same position where like he's without a shirt and like doing
okay.
stuff, and then she sees Chimere doing it and like he's even more vulnerable like in
Yeah.
this situation. I just want to figure out what's going on with Chimere.
So we've got 60% say they should like the show,
Okay.
40% says no. So at least out of our viewers right now, the show is winning. And I still think that these reviews are super unjust.
Again, you made a good point. It is better than Boba Fett. It's
Yeah.
better than season 3 of The Mandalorian. There's a poll going on Reddit right now where they're rating seasons of shows,
Yeah.
and it's funny. Like they're sorting things, and I'm agreeing with a lot of it, and then like I'm really trying to take this show and like where does it fit on there?
Yeah.
Like it is better than a lot of the slow Clone Wars, the slow Bad Batch. Like,
Yeah.
the everyone hates the last season of The Mandalorian. It wasn't atrocious, but it was bad.
Yeah, it wasn't the first 2 seasons, that's for sure.
You know what I mean? It was a letdown. And I think maybe that's what gets people more. Is this like people had different thoughts on what it was going to be, and they're just upset and angry, and like they're not taking it for like, this is the show, it's the Acolyte. They're like, I wanted a show about this, or I don't know.
That's definitely part of it. Because I feel like rumors had it when this show was first announced that it was going to be like a young Palpatine, and everyone was like super hyped about that.
Yeah,
and then it was also, okay, it's not going to be a young Palpatine, but it's going to be way back before anything, no connections, no nothing, and it's just going to be some dark side user in the story of the dark side and whatever. Then it wasn't really that either. Okay, maybe not the title, but
We still don't know who the Acolyte is.
that's what I was just about to say. The trailer, the title, what we were given doesn't feel like what we got, and that was a good point that you just made. It definitely doesn't feel like kind of what we were promoted to think that the show was. But
So is that a marketing thing on Disney?
yeah, 100%.
Or they
know what we want.
Yeah.
They just ain't gonna give it to us.
They could have set this up like a cooler murder mystery sort of like,
Yep.
you know what I mean?
They could have just followed the Sith. I think it should have been a story about. Or okay.
Well, take it as for what we've got. Could they have changed? So the show is what it is.
Yeah.
Could they have released better trailers, better marketing, a better whatever it is game plan that would have made the show more appealing? Like I said, if you knew going into it that it was going to be like kind of a murder mystery, a slower paced thing with like hints of Sith, you know what I mean? Versus like a full on focus on Sith. You know, would that have been like, great, I'm enjoying this more?
For me, I don't think it really would have made a difference.
Okay.
But I can't speak for the fan base because clearly we don't have the same opinion. Everybody's hating it. Everybody's really hating it. I wanna like touch on last week's episode too, like our episode. The show great, but we had a lot of hate comments last week. Oh my goodness.
Your choice to hate it. Yeah, no, seriously, I think most people are actively wrong about the Acolyte. Like they're just out to hate it for not even.
Do you think? I know I said it before. Do you think it's the bandwagon effect? Do you think everyone's just jumping on because?
100%, because like a lot of the hate isn't valid. Like, yeah, there is valid hate out there. Don't get me wrong. Like, sure, great, but a lot of the stuff you read is just like, this is nonsense.
Yeah.
Like, have you watched a Star Wars movie? It's space wizards. Oh, now we have space witches, and you can, like, that's a stretch. Like,
oh, we just jumped up to 7 votes out of nowhere, and no at 57. Yes at 43. So, okay, tell us why. Tell us why, because we were just saying that it's unjust to not like this show. Tell us why. Break it down. Convince us. Because last week we got a lot of hate for kind of standing up for this show, which is definitely, like you said earlier, better than Boba Fett, better than Tales of the Empire, better than 4 out of 6 of Tales of the Jedi episodes, better than Mandalorian Season 3, better than 70% of Kenobi. Like,
is it Disney just learning that, like, we're doing this wrong? These should be, like, movies? Less money into these 9 episode seasons, you know, these weekly releases, and, like, let's just make a movie.
Yeah, but they're not making movies.
Well,
They're still making a show.
They pivoted, they're making movies now. The next Mandalorian is not a TV show.
But they were supposed to make Rogue Squadron or whatever, which was supposed to be a movie too, wasn't it? That Patty Jenkins movie? That got canned. I don't think the Rey movie's coming out, bro. I really don't.
It was so funny because last week I said, like, man, I'd love to see a story of, like, the Jedi rebuild, because we're seeing them, like, kind of lose their way, and in the Phantom Menace they're, like, they've lost their way, and, like, it's like, man, I'd love to see them rebuild.
Yeah, but I want to see them rebuild
with Luke.
With Luke, and not, I don't care about Rey.
We missed that time. That would have been the 2000s. Mark Hamill would have been the perfect
age.
You know what I mean?
It's gone. It's gone. They can't, like, and de-aging him, I don't know,
you know what
that
they
much
could do?
would be weird.
Okay,
it would...
you know what they could do? And here's Disney, here's how you make money. This should have been a movie. The TV show should have been animated with Mark Hamill, New Jedi Order. You don't need him to act young. Yeah. You can do a really cool animation style.
And he's a voice actor.
You can do it all as...
Disney, do you hear that? Everyone share, make sure this gets to Disney. We're going to change Star Wars.
That's when you make the show.
Fan base.
You make, like, the Jedi Order into the TV show.
Yeah.
Great. Tons of content.
Yeah.
This story, this one-off story, should have been a movie. There's not going to be an Acolyte
You've been
season
preaching
2.
that since the beginning.
Where does this go?
Do you guys think it should have been a movie?
Ahsoka gets a season 2.
I know
right?
Rooster Tail said that last week that it should have been a movie.
Ahsoka gets a season 2. It goes somewhere.
Gets a season 2.
But now it's got a movie. You know what I mean? Like, how's that? So you have to watch Ahsoka season 1 to watch the movie. See, they're trying to tie to. This was a self-contained story.
Ahsoka,
Let it be its own thing.
What
It's
do
a
you mean
movie.
it's going to be a movie? The Heir to the Empire?
Yeah, is essentially a sequel to Ahsoka.
That's the formula, dude. Is I'm gonna pump out a bunch of content, and in 10 years,
It's
I'll
not
release a
working
movie.
anymore. In 10 years, we're tired of this. So I'm saying, like,
But
I think maybe fans
dude,
are
I don't
fatigued.
know if we're tired of, like, dude, if they do that Heir to the Empire thing right, it's gonna be bigger
Okay.
than Avengers, I swear.
But I look at Marvel, and, like, Marvel stuff has been very lackluster lately.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, after Endgame, all the TV shows, like, they feel lackluster.
But Endgame slapped, and that's what Star Wars is doing.
But how did Endgame get there? Endgame didn't get there with TV shows. It got there with movies.
Yeah.
It got there with self-contained movies
True.
that eventually tied into, like,
That's a good point. That's a good point.
you know what I mean? This was a self-contained, just release it in the theaters. Star Wars, The Acolyte.
Mm.
You just release it. Movie release. One shot. Great. Gauge what the interest is like for a standalone Star Wars movie that requires no background knowledge. No TV shows, no nothing.
I want to see. What did Endgame...
Just rant.
Do it, man. Rant away.
No. I'm so conflicted because I could defend this. I could hate this. I'm excited for next week. I want to see what happens here.
I'm super excited for next week.
Did you think it was Kelnaka that was going to be possessed? That was
So, if this was a movie released in theaters at their budget of 180 million, they would need to make a whopping amount of money to make it worth it. And Endgame made 357 million in their box office.
No, Endgame made like $1 billion, didn't it?
Not according to Box Office Mojo.
Oh yeah, opening, $357 million.
Yeah, that's what they go off, right? The opening weekend.
Yeah, but we want to know how much money it made overall.
Oh well, dude, Endgame's definitely made $1 billion.
It's made $1 billion. Okay, so here you go.
Yeah, there you go. 1.9. Yeah, worldwide 2.799. But they go off the opening weekend. That's like their right. Like all the movies, it's like
So
the
you-
competition's off the opening.
Okay, they
weekend.
say, what's the rule of thumb? Whatever your budget is for a movie, they spend at least half that on marketing. So if the
Jeez.
budget is 160 million, they've spent at least another 80 million marketing and advertising, right? So what's the budget for? What was the budget for Endgame?
356 million.
360. What's the budget for The Acolyte?
188.
What was the budget for? Look up the last 3 Star Wars movies. Just curious. Like Solo.
Budget?
Well, I guess Solo because there was a lot of rewrites that might have gone over budget. Rogue One had rewrites. Jesus, Disney knows how to really.
So for 7 and 9, it was 76.5 million for the budget. Which is crazy compared to saying that this one had 188.
Do you see what I mean?
Jeez.
Because you're doing too much. You're filming too much. You're putting people on set too much. You know what I mean?
So,
Type
Rooster
it up.
Tails said, I'm still trying to figure out if Khmer is the master or apprentice. The writing gets me. They have a lot of good ideas, but they fall short. Like Osha and Jackie relationships would have been good to see.
100%.
Like
You're
a Padawan
so on the
Jedi
wall.
having to deal with her feels. And Osha having to deal with the fact that she cares about someone that can't care for her back in the same way. Rooster Tails makes a bunch of good points.
They're great points. So, I don't know if Khmer. I don't think it matters who Khmer is.
Well, it does for us as fans because we've grown to really like him as a character.
But he's even said it. You can call me Sith. I'm not a Jedi. I just want to live my own life.
Yeah, but we want more.
So
we want
the,
it, like
the theory is that isn't there in like Star Wars lore, the Plagueis or Tenenbaum, one of those was trying to get their hand on Cortosis.
Who?
Darth. Who's Plagueis and who's his?
Tenenbaum,
Sorry,
Tenebris.
Tenebris. That's
Who's
his name.
Tenenbaum? Isn't that a Bioshock character?
Yeah, Tenebris. And then his master. I think in the story they're trying to get Cortosis, or like they are.
Yeah.
It's part of their.
Well, that's okay. So I said this before. If frigging Rooster Tails, if Chimere's Plagueis, because there's those theories going around, then I'll be really mad with this show.
Why would you be so mad?
Because Plagueis is a mun, and his whole story his whole book, Phantom Menace, everything is based on him being a Mun. He's a leader of a banking cult, and the Muns own the banks. Plagueis got to where he is because of that race. Like, you can't go and change someone's...
Who's Plagueis' master?
Tenebris, who's a Bith.
Who's the one that we don't know? Isn't there a Darth Venomous or that? Or...
The one before Tenebris is... Like, there's a few before Tenebris that are unknown. Let me look up the Sith lineage here.
The Sith lineage. I don't, like... I don't know if it matters to me if they reveal
Dude, it does matter. Like, they can't... You can't just do that.
Like, so what is he gonna be like? You can call me Darth...
Okay. This is not the one that I'm used to seeing, because that's definitely not right. There's definitely more than that. But it's saying Tenebris' master is Darth Ramage, and he had an apprentice, Venomous.
Okay.
He looks like also...
yeah, so that's the one that they think that he might be.
Venomous.
Yeah.
But he's also a bit...
Because he's also using poisons and stuff, right? Like, he uses...
But the thing, like, and the theories are good. The theories break down that they were looking for Cortosis and trying to create life together and doing all this stuff, and like, the theories are out there. They're better.
We
than
still
what I'm
think
giving
that
right now, but
the Sith are involved in the creation of Osha and May, because that wasn't answered really tonight.
I would like to think so.
Well, that's a pretty...
Yeah, this is a sweet image, but it's not correct.
Yeah. So we didn't really they didn't explain that at all. It was very briefly passed over, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like, how were the kids made? So that needs to come up. So maybe we do get the reveal that someone was there. Someone played a hand in it. I can't see them introducing another character for the last episode.
They won't do that.
But isn't there...
So Rooster Tail says Chimere's a goddamn good character, or a damn good character. He better not be Plagueis, and then but the timeline would not end up in that case.
Okay.
Which he's not wrong. It wouldn't line up.
So, there's an actor. I believe his name is David Harwood.
Guys, if you're here watching, hit that subscribe button. If you're not already, hit that like button. Let us know what you think in the comments.
Okay, I don't know, like, this is going to be a terrible image for everyone that you have to zoom in. So this guy, on Arrow, he's supposedly cast for a role in this TV show. And he hasn't been seen yet. So I don't know if that is something.
If he's a Sith?
Could he be, like, he's a pretty big name to be a character that's not introduced yet.
Okay, Venomous would kind of make sense if it was Tenebris' apprentice. Rooster Tails, help us out with the timeline a little bit here. Would that make sense if he was Darth Venomous?
So,
because
would you get a post-credits where, like, Venomous kills the Jedi or whatever, and the post-credits is another Sith, like, slaying him, and it's, Plagueis, and you're like, oh, cool. That's how it ends?
I'd like that. I would like
We
that.
made him happy.
I would like that. I'm not gonna lie. I think that'd be pretty cool.
So even in a small cameo role, to be like, we made Plagueis made it to the big screen?
I think that'd be sick.
This is one of his apprentices.
I think
this is one of his acolytes.
Dude.
The show's about Chimera. He's the acolyte of the...
That'd be sick. But then, okay, but if that was the case, then give us a show on Chimere.
There's got to be some sort of symbolism between how Saul wants an apprentice and Chimera wants an apprentice.
Yeah. Well, I feel like there is. I feel like...
And they want the same person.
Chimere's the dark Saul.
Saul seems pretty kind of clouded by his judgment.
He's just stuck in his own way. Like, he doesn't care what anyone else thinks.
Like, he does want to do good and, like, protect the girls. But
also, was he about to beat up Indara? What was their little scuffle on the ship there? Like, it wasn't really clear on who started it. It just kind of...
She grabbed him, his hands all over the place. I don't know. I was like, almost like, was there like a romantic thing like involved with
it? Was weird. Yeah,
right?
This episode kind of felt like they were, especially when they were in the forest when they were younger, and she was like rubbing his shoulder and was like, oh no, you don't know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And they were like talking secretly, and my Padawan's this and that.
Okay, so I'm just excited for next week. So everyone, join us next week as we wrap up.
Same time.
Acolyte, yeah.
Just around 10. hit that subscribe button. If you're not watching now, make sure you hit that like button, comment your thoughts. We will get back to them. We'll cover them next week.
We got a backlog of content, so if you guys are enjoying what we do,
Yeah.
give it a view, give it a like, support the stuff. Give us some comments, critiques, spelling corrections. You know, it helps us grow as a channel and as people.
Man.
But yeah, no, it's Acolyte season 1 of 1, episode 7. I enjoyed it. It was a slower pace for me, but it still wasn't bad.
This show's a banger. I'm enjoying it. Until they do something crazy like make Chimera Plagueis, I'm enjoying it.
All right, till next week. Awesome.
Till
Thank
next
you
week.
for joining
Thank
us,
you,
guys.
everybody. Thank you, Rooster Tales, for all the engagement. And
To everyone, thank you.
talk to you later.
May the force be with you all.